Greetings, divine souls, I am Nika Jones. This channel is about increasing the collective awareness and teachings on increasing the frequency of love and compassion to reach 5D destination, and to discover the secrets kept hidden for so many millennia. Today I will talk about heaven and hell. This revolutionary message will change your life forever because you never heard it before unless you read my books. If you are new to this channel, a big welcome. If you are a returning viewer, thank you for your interest and support. Please subscribe to receive notifications when a new video uploads if my work resonates with you. I start now with the message. Hi Lucifer, how are you today? Hello, brave souls. It is a blessing for me to return to my original state because I treasure being the archangel of love. That suits me better, and I feel fantastic, my dear partner. That's lovely, dear Lucifer. Describe today, please, how you and your guys created heaven and hell. It was a complicated project that took a long time to do it. In our timeline, which moved slower than yours, we achieved it in a few hundred years. Before having your souls, we knew that you have a free will. God has assigned the free will to all of you that live and experience the third and fourth dimensions of realities. The fifth and higher dimensions do not have free will. How you want to live your life, or who you want to be while living in third and fourth dimensions realities, is your decision, not God's. If God used a condition, it would impose limitations, and you cannot practice the concepts you studied while dwelling in higher realms. So, God didn't assign any restrictions to your third dimension journey. But we did. Without constraints, you couldn't suffer and obey the laws we created. Therefore, before we had your souls, we created places for you to inhabit when you don't have a physical body. First, we constructed hell by installing an energetic field that was very dark, almost black, all over the earth. That field was around 3 kilometers high. It was a dark grayish color that went darker the further you fly higher. After 3 kilometers, it was a cumbersome, a black energy shell almost 2 kilometers wide that blocked you from getting out of the field while not having a physical body. This barrage also prevented your relatives, friends, and twin flames from contacting you and giving them a rough time communicating with you. The energetic field was a lighter color when we lived in 5D, and it went darker after we descended in 3D. We also had to fortify the entrances to our realm to make sure nobody would visit and connect with you while living in a lower density field. It will mess up our project in the third dimension severely. So, we designed and planted a spider web around Earth to trap any light beings that dare to penetrate the energetic field. Once we caught them, we brought them in paradise and programmed their mind until they were ready to receive a physical body. We created this net to capture just high vibrational beings, and it didn't affect the lower frequency beings. They could go through the net unhindered. As a result, not so many light entities dare to meet or connect with you. Between 2012 to 2016, the light entities removed the spider grid, and more light beings communicated with you. Be aware I wasn't there in 2012, but the dark entities didn't want to lose your souls, so they hooked up with people through channelings. They knew that you would share their messages with the rest of the population, so they give you furthermore news that will benefit themselves and weaken the planetary frequencies. They are still playing games with you, trying to deceive and fool you by offering you a better life and fame on Earth by giving your souls in exchange. So dear listeners, make sure you know what you are doing. Do not accept their offerings because they will never keep their promises for too long, and your soul will stay captive for a long time. Sometimes they will contact you, and sometimes they make a deal with you during dream state. They cannot do it by force if you do not want or your body frequency is high, but they will try. They achieve their plans by promising to give you what you want to carry out in this lifetime. Fame and fortune will only apply for this lifetime, and I prefer not to tell what happens in the next lifetime. I will explain in another video how to break free from their chains. I make a small parenthesis here to show you how you can find if you channel a light being. First, analyze the vibrational level of the information. If the news tells you about the apocalypse or create doubts, ambiguities, or fears and its derivatives or are ego-based words, you are not channeling a light being. It is a shadowy being that misleads you and your audiences. To connect with high-frequency light entities, you need not have fears of any kind. Be precise, and the message has to transmit love and compassion. People with addictions as smokers, alcoholics, drug users, and other habits, might not channel a light entity from a higher dimension because they have an altered vibrational field. The same peoples that carry a powerful ego. Unhappy, cynical, bitter people living in continuous stress, dramas, worries, and traumas cannot channel light beings until they harmonize their field to vibrate love and benevolence for all humanity. Discern the channeled messages. Are they telling something new or repeating what you already know? To channel us, we will always come to you in love and remind you about your contract. If you do not have a previous agreement to channel an entity of light, you might call for an entity to talk with you and give you messages. They will appear, but be sure you are at peace, happy, in harmony, and carry a high frequency of love. Otherwise, you will pick up a replacement coming through you manifested by the law of attraction. You cannot attract a high vibration being if you do not have a high vibration. Now I presume you realize how communication with us works and how you can figure out where your information comes from, my lovely channelers. I admire and honor your desire to help this planet, but make sure you understand who you channel, otherwise you will create big disfavor to yourself and your listeners. I get back to the subject now to tell you how we constructed and designed heaven. After we finished building the hell, we began working to create paradise. We planted some barriers on top of your cities after we completed the hell approximative 5 to 10 kilometers above Earth, and we protected them with an energetic field. We had to secure you not to leave behind our paradise. So we organized heaven on a few levels. On the top level of paradise, we settled souls that carried a very positive hearty energy. They are the ones that took care and help you in your evolution while residing on Earth. They could visit you on lower levels of Wonderland, and all the time, we supervised all of you. After a while, your families from higher realms of evolution visited you. We understood that you do not recognize them, and they will not capture your soul because that might complicate their advancement in their realms. Anyway, they didn't want to interfere with God's project, so we had no other choice than to let them visit you. Afterward, we created heaven as big cities surrounded by energetic fields to sustain you inside and to keep the trespassers out of the area. It was a charming way of living inside the cities, with beautiful landscapes, nature, lakes, rivers, all looking like paradise you dreamed of, etc. You lived in beautiful houses with your families until you were ready to receive another body. You needed permission to travel between cities, and you used our flying machines to get where you wanted, but most of you didn't know there were more cities in heaven. We created over 200 towns of heaven on top of almost all countries. Some countries had over one town in heaven because they speak more languages. We had to design them by taking into consideration the languages you speak. As an example, Canada had 2 heavens, one for English-speaking and one for French-speaking souls. Some souls were fragile when we lifted them from hell. We had to hold them a long time in our healing centers for rejuvenation. After they healed, they went to their home to live with their family members. Every soul had a role in serving the community and each other, and they never got paid because we didn't have wealth in heaven. But we created rewards programs where they received bonuses for their contributions in the community. They could use these rewards to have what they wanted, but most of them spent these bonuses to visit their families left on Earth after their passing. To see your families you left behind on Earth, you had to go through Hell Field. For that, you need a qualified entity to accompany you there because you cannot reach Earth alone. I will tell you now before I go further how the souls got damaged or ill. During their reincarnation, some individuals did some evil actions and reactions, and they were out of love and kindness for others. Other souls got damaged through addictions to substances, while others suffered from various emotional problems they had while in a physical body. But the most damaged individuals were the ones that feared and worried about everything. When they lost the physical body, their fear of death was so powerful that they held them captive around Earth's field. With their right of instant manifestation, they manifested in an instant whatever they were thinking and feeling. That frightened them further, and it was tough to get them in paradise because they refused to move to other places that they didn't know. To get them to move in heaven, we approached their family members who lived in paradise. They helped us to bring them home. Once we got them in heaven, we put them in the recuperation centers until they became better. I want to include another category of death, the one you lose your body through the instant fire, as atomic wars. This kind of death will destroy your soul by breaking it in many fragments, and for thousands of years, we will work to recuperate your entire soul. The light beings know that, and they will do whatever is necessary not to use the atomic war on Earth or other planets anymore. Suicide is another form of death that will attract very unpleasant situations for you after passing and require long-term healing in our recuperation centers. When you leave behind the physical body, you get another body that is more lightweight and bright, which is the astral body. You have 5 bodies that you use while back in other realities. You have a very dense physical body that you use it in 3D to 5D. The astral body you use it in a dream state or after leaving the physical body. The next one is the light body that you used to go through higher dimensions. When you are back to the source, you will get a celestial body that will support you to continue your evolution in the source field. If you bypass the source level in your growth, you will get a universal cosmic body that is very lightweight. It will serve you to live and experience other universes. Over there, you have more bodies too, but so far, just a few souls bypass God during this evolutionary cycle. When you leave the physical body, you assign yourself one of these bodies according to your frequency and spiritual development. When your souls were captive, you used just the astral body. While you reincarnate in the 3rd and 4th dimensions, you need to work hard to activate and trigger these bodies that you carry with you in your field. Otherwise, your soul evolution is not ready to move on, and you need more reincarnations. You have energetic centers on your physical body that will trigger these unseen bodies' development using your power of intention, special music or sounds, and meditations. I will tell you now what your relative from higher levels of evolutions did after we took your souls. They tried to save and connect with you 1,000,000 times, but they couldn't go down close to Earth. The Earth density was hurting them, and the spider web could catch them. Because of that, your twin flames and family members organized a mission to uplift your souls while living on Earth by increasing the frequency of love and compassion. They sent many brave souls to Earth to show you how to get out of the reincarnation cycle and finish the 3rd dimension project. These beautiful souls from higher dimensions of realities arrived at our paradise, and they beg us to get a human body to help you get out of the darkness. Then they got incarnated on Earth, and we created all the circumstances necessary to hold them in heavy density. Therefore they couldn't break out from the 3rd dimension density, and they started the cycle of reincarnation. So, they couldn't return to their realms after leaving the physical body, and more souls came to rescue them. This way, heaven grew quicker, and we had to expand the boundaries to hold you all in. It was a time of celebration for us because we had souls without working hard to capture them. I assume it is clear now why there are so many souls on Earth, and why many of you are active with their spiritual evolution in this universe. Besides, more souls from different places in this universe took a physical body for the first time in this era. They are here to help the Earth and to aid you to ascend back to 5D. During your reincarnations, you all had a choice that we will allow you to get out of 3rd dimension density by increasing the body frequency of love. It was your passport to move out of the reincarnation cycle. It gave you the right to bypass heaven or hell and return to your families of light or the source when leaving the physical body. All we did was inspected and adjusted by God regularly. He wanted to make sure we follow the divine laws in everything we build. Where are we going now if heaven and hell disappeared? I wanted to touch this subject. Now when you leave behind the physical body, you are not going to heaven or hell. The light beings destroyed them a few years back. You currently have some options. Some of you will live with your light beings' families. Others didn't complete their evolution in the 3rd density. They will remain with your families of light until they reincarnate on another 3rd dimension realm. Some of you reached your soul's full development, and you will get back to the origin. You still have a choice if you want to go to God's field or live with your family of light. As I mentioned before, a few brave souls bypassed God and completed their evolution in this universe. They will move to another plane of existence in another universe with another God. Our soul development will continue in eternity. Therefore, we designed heavens and hell in such a way to keep your soul captive until the contract with your evolution in the 3rd dimension will expire. Also, it provided you with an illusion to be rewarded for being a remarkable individual on Earth. My allies never knew about the contract with the time frame that you will spend in 3D. That's why they are still fighting to keep you in the third dimension. Do you have more questions before I go? No, thank you for clarifying the heaven and hell information. Most of us will not be ready for your teaching, but I am confident that some of us will understand very well God's creation. Then I will leave now, and remember, you are all loved beyond your understanding.